in the summer skies of love. Woman, child of love's creation, come and step inside my dreams. In your eyes I see no sadness. You are all that love in me. Take my hand and we'll go riding through the sunshine up above. We'll find happiness together in the summer skies of love. Welcome to another abject, bloody, horrible episode of the apocalypse. Congratulations for choosing the apocalypse, by the way. Not a wise choice, but it's been chosen. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. So bloody jolly good to see you again. Let me just start this piece of shit because it's long and I'm getting rather disgusted with the Reich, honestly. Not easy to do this every day, talk about these cretins. It really isn't. So I'm going to start you like 2 days back and we're going to work toward the present if my mouth can function because my mouth is so dry. I'm going to try though. Here's Ron Filipkowski. I've been saying Filipowski. I believe it's Filipkowski. There's a K in there I've been leaving out. Forgive me, Ron. How dare I? How bloody dare I? So again, around 2 days ago, we're at war with Iran. Trump's gone into hiding. Nobody will tell us our objectives, plan, or end game. Our Secretary of Defense is a useless dipshit. Our Secretary of State lied about it. Our DNI loves the leader of Iran's greatest ally. And tomorrow we're having a parade for Trump's birthday. That's the state of your country, and that's the short list a couple days ago. Now it's even worse, of course. Every day you're going to lose a little bit, and they'll make sure of that. That's what they're here for. They don't like democracy anymore. I don't know if you got the memo. I thought this was brilliant. Again, this is just a random person that popped up in my feed. The history of Nazis holding rallies in left-wing areas of Weimar Germany, instigating street fights, and then telling the press that only they could save Germany from the violent communists, that's in quotes, seems like an important thing for people to be studying right now. Yeah, again, the exact playbook is being played, and you're going to get the modern Bukele version thrown in there with the crypto, the jailing everybody, the death camps. We've already got one death camp. I'm talking about here. The crypto, the death camps, the mob type rule like in Russia, like in El Salvador. Do you think Mr. Bukele is a nice guy? No. He's just working with the criminals now as the head mobster instead of someone else. That's all that's going on, son. The man takes money to lock anybody up for the rest of their fucking life. He could care less if they have any charges at all. That's the demon we're dealing with. Don't ever give it the benefit of the doubt, because just like Donnie will be top mobster here, Mr. Bukele is top mobster there, and that's the best way to describe them. Not as president or dictator or whatever. Top mobster, just like Vlad. That's what he is. So again, the same thing happened in Weimar Germany, where they would go and try and provoke responses from people, poke the bear, and then say, look how violent they are. Inversion of reality. That's all we will get with this machine you're watching, this Reich. The Nazis, the same thing. Reality and truth had zero fucking place in Nazi Germany. It has zero place here now. Everything they've ever been accused of, Donnie especially, it's always point the finger back and just repeat the accusation based on nothing. That's how far gone the truth is. And people have gone along. We're all kind of going along in a way, aren't we? So again, the same exact playbook. And, there's a reason the troops are going to be on the streets of California for like 60 days. That's a nice long time to provoke a few responses from people, isn't it? Maybe the troops get a little frustrated. Who knows? It's what do you call that? A powder keg. Something that's about to go off. And that's why they're there, just, to give the Reich another excuse to put more machine guns on the street. And you've already got them on your streets. That should terrify you. That's a boundary that's been just skipped over gleefully. Everyone in this country knows the National Guard, and especially Marines, are not necessary in California. Yet they're there. That means the end of your country, son. Maybe you didn't like freedom, but let me tell you this, you really ain't gonna like dictatorship, son. I don't give a fuck who you are. This is a little clip on Pete Hegseth, again, came out a couple days ago. It's from the New York Magazine. Pete Hegseth was different after SignalGate, according to 6 people in a position to know. Remember SignalGate, that's Hegseth and Witkoff and others inviting a top editor at the Atlantic into the classified imminent war plan chat. Because they needed to use Signal. Why, class? Because they want to hide everything they do. They want no records, to the point it's being shared with, editor-in-chief of the Atlantic on the Signal app, because paramount issue 1 for the Reich always, make sure people don't find out what we are doing in that pursuit. And we're going to see this over and over again in various instances in that pursuit of constantly trying to hide what they're doing, their communications, etc., so no court cases can happen later, so their trials can't happen later. That's what they're trying to avoid years in the future. They know exactly what they're doing. In their pursuit, they invited a reporter from the Atlantic who wrote a story. Hey, I just got invited into a classified chat with war plans. Hegseth out there all pissed off with a glass of gin, like, I didn't share no fucking war plans. And then the next day we find out, because they had to say it wasn't classified. Otherwise, some motherfuckers would be getting fired. We find out the next day the literal war plans, imminent war plans, Petey uploaded to the chat. But Petey was yelling with the glass of gin the day before. Yeah, none of it was true. So in their pursuit to hide things, they shared it with the most taboo thing ever, a reporter. Ooh. And he wrote that story immediately. He didn't share no classified info. He just said, I got invited into a classified chat. That's all. Where, imminent war plans were discussed. That's all that happened. He didn't do nothing wrong, Big Jeff Goldberg. Absolutely. He did the right thing. He gave you the vagaries and just let you know what happened. He didn't reveal any classified info. I like that. And then the next day he revealed the whole thing, because the Reich had to be like, it wasn't classified. War plans that are going to happen in a half hour, that's not classified. We can share that with anybody. Even reporters. Even though the planes aren't even off the ground yet. We're fucking doomed, right? You know that. Here's a little more. Did I read the whole thing? Paralyzed as he awaited orders from the White House. I don't even remember. I'm so tired. His circle grew smaller and to people more accustomed to a traditional Defense Department stranger. Why was his personal lawyer, Tim Parlatore, always around? If you need a lawyer around you 24 hours a day, you a goddamn criminal. Son. Does you hear me? And his bro, I mean, this is how scared of getting locked the fuck up this guy is. I want a lawyer next to me at all fucking times. We are so fucking doomed. Hegseth began including his wife, Jennifer Hegseth, in meetings at the Department of Defense. Son, do you hear me? Inviting family members out. Yeah, come on in, honey. Just listen to the classified Department of Defense meeting. It's okay. You can bring a spouse to work day, right? Oh my God. We're fucking doomed. Does you hear me, son? It ain't no laughing matter either. I'm only laughing so I don't cry. So his wife's in on, the Department of Defense meetings, classified chats. Big Jeff Goldberg from The Atlantic, he's in on classified chats. A development that was reportedly confusing to foreign officials. Yeah, who's the woman sitting here? Does she have a position that we should know about? Does she have clearances? Because we're talking top secret classified shit about our country and your son. So, who is this person sitting here? You going to invite your grandma next? Your kids, maybe? The family dog? Maybe? Jerk off? Maybe your next door fucking neighbor? We're fucking doomed. Are you hearing what I'm reading you? Confusing to foreign officials. Jenny directed the communication staff to draw up a PR package in a way that offended them. They did not work for her. This is the Department of Defense, son. This ain't your local office job. And even then, your local office job, you bring your spouse in and your spouse starts giving orders to people, you're going to lose your goddamn job. That's what would happen in the real world. This is Trump fucking, ass backwards bubble world, where you can have your wife sitting there or your husband, whatever the case may be, sitting there as classified discussions are going on with foreign nations and shit. And on the Signal app chat. This is horrifying, man. In the secretary's office are a half dozen prints known as jumbos. Typically, these would be pictures of tanks and troops in battle. In Hegseth's office, instead are 7 giant pictures of Jenny Hegseth, many of them showing her in the same pink dress. Okay, again, picture this. You walk into a man's office. He's got 7 pictures of his wife, all in the same dress. Without those 2 J's, Hegseth once said to Megyn Kelly, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. The other J was for Jesus. Jesus didn't need a lawyer walking next to him wherever he went. Do you notice that? It didn't. The passage in Scripture never started. Jesus and his lawyer were walking down the street or giving the Sermon on the Mount. You know what I mean? Just in case Jesus said something illegal. Even this little clip, I'm afraid to read the rest of the article. Even this little fucking clip is fucking horrifying. And any doubts that I had that we're doomed, because I haven't been on in a few days, and you start thinking, all right, maybe you're wrong. Maybe we're not doomed. Then I read this, we're fucking doomed. We're fucking doomed. And this was horrible. Minnesota Democratic Senator John Hoffman, Democratic House Rep Melissa Hortman, and their spouses have been shot. Again, MAGA doesn't wait for elections anymore. That's where we're at in this country. Unfortunately, we've been here for like 10 years. You saw January 6th, right? They don't wait for elections. They kill people. They beat people. They shoot people. That's what they do now. Intimidate, threaten, power by any means. That's the right wing in this country now. Does that mean every single person participates in that? No, but enough do to make it a fucking problem. Here we go, two state representatives fucking dead, or excuse me, one of them and their husband, I believe, died, and the other one is still alive, but they got shot many times. This isn't like, once in the shoulder or something. The intent was to execute these people. And again, of course, you had Laura Loomer, Leon, everybody immediately. It was a left-wing person that are so violent, inverting reality. The guy was as MAGA can fucking be. And there's no doubt about it. It's insane how MAGA he was, actually. So once again, we've got another, completely right-wing shooter, as usual. And again, not all shooters are right-wing, just about 99% of them, unfortunately for us. So here we go again, where two state representatives get executed. This is the tone Donnie Shitbags has been setting for 10 fucking years. That it's okay to do things like this. It's okay to be violent and execute people because they're standing in your way politically, just like January 6th. Those people got pardons. The one person that died that was in the MAGA cult is getting at least $5 million of your money via a lawsuit that they won. That's how gone your country is, son. So this person went to their door in a rubber fucking complete, like professional mask that goes all the way around the head and pulls around the neck, as not to be identified, I guess. Total fucking psycho. And I knew as soon as I heard they were government officials what kind of person did it and why. And again, two of them are dead. The other two shot the fuck up. He even shot their dog, one couple. I believe he's in custody. Finally, they got him tonight at some point. This is our country now. Remember what happened very shortly after Donnie won? A CEO got gunned down on the fucking street. Again, I warned before the election, please don't do this. Please don't turn us into Russia. I was talking to the oligarchy mainly, but the peasants, the rubes, had just as much to do with it, didn't they? So this is our country now where, a certain percentage of this nation are extremists, willing to kill people. And that's an attitude that's celebrated. It's been celebrated for decades. How many documentaries have we seen where some weird, strange jerk-off has a kind of compound or large property in a rural area, and they have dummies in the back to shoot at? And they're usually labeled with liberal politicians' names. We've been seeing this for decades and decades. There's a sickness there, son. I don't know if you realize that. If you got a dummy in your backyard labeled as something that you shoot at, there's a bit of an illness there, I must say. And I know quite a lot about psychology and psychiatry. Probably what I should have went into, actually. Just from studying humans. That's all. Observation, patterns. Like the pattern of right-wing extremist who lives out in the sticks and has a bunch of dummies in the backyard that he uses as target practice with people's names on it. That's not sociopathic at all, son. So two of these people are dead. I believe there are slim majorities in both houses. Because I assume it's modeled after the federal government, where there's a Senate and there's a congressional level. Both houses, I believe, are very thin margins, and that may have been a real motivating factor to do this. Here's Donnie on parade day. What was that, yesterday? Our great military parade is on, rain or shine. Remember, a rainy day parade brings good luck. I'll see you all in DC. That's what that looks like. All caps. He's basically saying, yeah, I'm going to make these military men and women march in the rain because, it's my birthday. Fuck them. He's also saying that. And yeah, we don't do military parades in America. We don't do dictator parades with old weapons. The literal thing that he did. But we'll get to it. The protests yesterday. I'm not going to go through every town and show you pictures from every town. I picked specific incidents and maybe like one or two towns to show you. You've seen the pictures, I'm sure. I'm just trying to make a point here. The updated Donnie Baby Blimp, or Trump Baby Balloon, whatever you want to call it. Updated version. I'm liking it. It's really, taking shape. I'm digging it. He looks mean this time. Oh, this shit. The other day, down here, the protests weren't very big like you saw months ago. They must have protested in a different area. So I'm driving down the road. I see four people. And there's one woman behind them all who I didn't see towards the end. She was kind of blocked. She was wearing a black full body suit. She had a Guy Fawkes mask on and like pink or greenish hair, something. Long hair, probably a wig or something that went with the mask. I don't know. And she was holding the sign like, above her head with both hands. And it was just very striking. I wasn't, I'm especially down here where I am. I'm not used to seeing that. Yeah, I've seen a few protests, but no one that took it that far. And I thought to myself, that person's trying right there. Because that is striking. I wanted to get a fucking picture to show you people. But I couldn't get it. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to AI generate it. Because it's such a striking image. It works. I think this should be like the new uniform or something. So I've never AI generated jack shit in my life. No pictures, no text, nothing. I have no idea how it works. So I start searching. I look for an AI to use. I decide I'm going to try the Google AI. And I swear to you, I type in 4 sentences and it generates an entire image. I mean, what are artists going to do? What are commercial artists going to do? It can generate an image. Anything you type in, you don't got to know shit. You don't got to be able to draw nothing. And I'm sure you can create whole film sequences, all of it like this. It's insane. So again, 4 sentences, I created this. Donnie shitbags. Guy Fawkes mask, pink hair, and a bodysuit. And as I was doing this, I was realizing how I was like, I could spend all day on this, creating different images, and I'm very imaginative. I have worlds in here, son, worlds. And my God, the things I could do with this. I don't want to, honestly, I don't want to spend too much time, making different images for political purposes. But I could see myself messing with it once in a while. But it's fucking fascinating. This is amazing. You can write 4 sentences and come up with a complete image like this. It's insane. No couch fuckers allowed. Now, the second time I tried to generate this one, the Google AI wouldn't do it and it said might violate something. It was the way I blanked out certain letters in the word, the F word. It didn't like it one time I did it because I had forgotten things in the first image. So I had to do it multiple times. Um, so when I blocked it out this way, and actually I only put like 1 star or something, but when I used a multiplication symbol or a plus sign, I can't remember, for one of the letters, it wouldn't let me do it, and it said it might violate blah blah blah. So this way though, it worked. And again, I only put like 1 star to block out one of the letters on the curse word. And again, it's just fucking fascinating. And that's very fucking, that's a striking image. If you see that on the street or driving by, you will look. That's the point. This is the first one I made, and I forgot to add the pink hair so that it generated this. This looks familiar. I almost think I've seen this picture before. Maybe the AI generated it before. I don't know. And this was the last one I made? Yeah, this was the very last, but I have one more to show you after this. The lake awaits. Fascinating. This one, Leon Scum. Imagine the uses for this for fashion, like designing clothing. My God. Oh, this is more about the 2 representatives from Minnesota that got killed. This guy had Tim Walz on the list too, and remember Tim ran for vice president. This guy's a total fucking psycho, and there's footage of him giving sermons and different things he's done. He's a fucking psycho, obviously. A list of other possible targets was retrieved from the suspect's vehicle. Authorities said the list named Hortman and Hoffman. Police noted the list included dozens of other Democrats from Minnesota, including Governor Walz, Rep. Omar, Senator Tina Smith, Attorney General Keith Ellison, according to law enforcement sources familiar with the matter. And they're looking into what may have motivated him. Well, when you see the list of all fucking Democrats, that kind of tells you what motivated him. You know what I'm saying? And it's disgusting that you got Leon out there, Laura Loomer, and others, certain people in government trying to paint this guy as a left winger. Here we are again. And let me explain something to the rubes here. If you have to lie about it, you're on the wrong side. Do you get that? If you have to lie about the shooters over and over and just, go out of your way to try and paint the person as a left winger, you've already lost. You're on the wrong side of it. If a certain ideology in a lot of cases leads to this, we have to examine the ideology, don't we? Because it seems to continue to lead to this for a lot of you. That murder's okay all of a sudden. Yet you're giving pro-life sermons on Sunday. Do you see the contradiction there? The Minnesota gunman is Vance Luther Bolter, a former military anti-abortion Christian nationalist, not surprisingly. Ain't nothing Christian about this motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here with that. And I believe they have him in custody now. I'm surprised they let him take him alive. But then again, in the Trump, era, maybe he'll get a pardon. because that's what you people do. And then you clap when the guilty man goes free as you attempt to lock up the innocent man. That's your existence now. In a phone call this morning with Michael Scherer, Trump wanted to make one thing clear: America first means whatever he says it does. The conversation ended when the president said he had to take a call from Putin. Again, I think that was his birthday. America first is whatever I say it is. Oh, Vlad's on the phone. I gotta end this. Sorry, buddy. Fuck off. Again, we're fucking doomed, man. But that's what he is. He's being honest. That is what America first means. There's no real philosophy. It's just whatever the cult leader says. That's all of a sudden America first. Meanwhile, you're wearing the Chinese-made hat with the MAGA logo on it. Whatever. It's just another statement of what a narcissist, God complex freak this person is. That he would even say anything like that. Iran's leadership flees to Moscow, likely with billions, as is the custom. Well, of course they're going to take as much money as they possibly fucking can. I imagine the cars going to the airport are riding real low from all that cash in the fucking trunk. Probably weighs like fucking 300 pounds. But here's what that looks like. There was a picture to go with that. The plane on the tarmac. We getting the fuck out. We don't give a fuck about our people. We'll go live somewhere else and be rich. Maybe under Vlad's, protection in Russia. I don't know how well that's going to work out for them. But, compare that to Zelensky, who's fighting a much larger country. And he had the opportunity to leave way back in the beginning. You remember? And he said, no, I don't need a ride. I need bullets, motherfucker. That's what he said. So that's a real leader, one. Staying with his people, not abandoning them as if they're nothing. And Zelensky could have lived on taxpayer dime over here in America for years and years until the war was over. Probably a penthouse suite somewhere, who knows? He could have done that, him and his wife. And he said, no, I'm going to stay in the fucking war zone against Russia. That motherfucker got balls. There ain't an American leader that I can think of that would do that. First of all, they'd be in some type of protected area away from things. I just can't see an American leader doing that. So Zelensky, again, you're seeing the difference between him and the Iranian leadership. If you want to know why a Democratic senator and representative in Minnesota were shot, it might have something to do with the fact that their deaths would end the Democratic majorities in both chambers. And they put this chart up, and I don't really understand it fully. In one of the chambers, they have 67, and it's 34 to 33 is the count for the both parties. So you kill one person, it changes the whole dynamic of politics in Minnesota. The other one has 134. And the blue team has 67, and the red team, I can't see the number. And I can't do the math right now in my head. It appears there are very razor-thin majorities in both houses of the legislature in Minnesota. So if a psycho kills two Democrats, well, then someone has a majority or an even split, don't they? Again, is murder really worth that? Your team getting the majority? I mean, let's say someone faked an attempt on their life. Just totally hypothetical situation. 2 people died in that attempt in this hypothetical situation. You'd be just like them. If you go and murder 2 state representatives, you'd be just like that person and the hypothetical that faked an assassination attempt where 2 people died, right? Wouldn't you? Yes, you would. This is at one of the protests. Let me see if I can brighten this up a tiny bit. I'd like that taco to go, please. I thought that was pretty clever, actually. Well done. Few key moments I'm showing you. Here's a woman holding a sign. Does this ass make my country look fat? And they got a little picture of Donald in there so you know who we're talking about, okay? Something quickly about this I find fascinating about American society, going from the 80s until now, and this has nothing to do with politics. In the 80s, you'd see on television, or your girlfriend, whatever, if you had one, would say this phrase to you: does my ass look fat in these jeans? Okay, you'd give your answer. Once it got into, the later 90s and the 2000s, your girlfriend would turn to you and say, does my ass look fat enough in these jeans? Do you see the difference? We get a complete opposite desire. In the 80s, again, does my ass look fat in these jeans? In other words, the fat ass was a negative. Years later, then your girlfriend would ask you, does my ass look fat enough in these jeans? That just always fascinated me, that's all. Does this ass make my country look fat? Brilliant wordplay. I like it. Cultural wordplay. Here's Donnie talking about the Putin phone call. Putin called this morning to very nicely wish me a happy birthday, but to more importantly talk about Iran, a country he knows very well. We talked at length. Much less time was spent talking about Russia, Ukraine. That's for next week. He's doing the planned prisoner swaps. All right, we don't need the rest of this. You get it. Donnie and Vlad, his boss, that's basically what happened. Donnie's boss gave him a call on his birthday to wish him a happy birthday. And, they talked about who they were going to subjugate or kill or conquer next. And that was before the dictator parade planned for later. Following the release of this video, latest reports indicate leaders of the Iranian dictatorship are fleeing to Russia. Islamic regime collapse in Iran may be imminent. Israel most certainly has operational plans for just this scenario. And that's being verified by Netanyahu. That's why I'm reading it to you. We saw the cars. We saw the random poster say they're leaving Tehran, or the leadership is fleeing the country with a bunch of money. Now Netanyahu and the Israelis are kind of verifying that for us. Hundreds of people form a human banner at San Francisco's Ocean Beach during the protests. I thought this was pretty interesting. This is real. They really did this. That's human beings forming that word and border. Yeah, this country was literally founded on telling a king to fuck off. Do you realize that, son? And I'm talking to the rubes. The rest of us obviously realize that. We don't vote for traitors. We don't vote for Russian assets. We don't vote for con men or grifters. But do you understand it? This country literally was founded on the principle of telling a king to go fuck himself. We don't want to be subject to your rule. Now you're making a king happen. A lot of you went to the Capitol and tried to make a dictator or king happen. Do you realize your existence, your ideology, what you attempted to do physically is utterly contradictory to the Constitution? The literal opposite. Just like your Christianity, probably, if you claim to be a Christian, as you're rubbing shit on the walls of the Capitol because your dictator didn't win. It's the opposite of that as well. Because you're helping someone commit an immoral, illegal act, usurp the proper channels of power for themselves so they can be a dictator. What the fuck do you get out of it? Donnie sure seems like he's getting a lot out of it, because we basically do live under a dictatorship now. No one stands up to him, not the courts, not anyone. And when the courts make a weak attempt, he just ignores it. Again, we've got active duty Marines and the National Guard on California streets, so that's all that needs really be said, right? Dozens of women dressed as handmaidens silently walked through downtown as part of a march of dissent before a No Kings protest against policies of the Trump administration on Saturday, June 14th in Fort Worth. I assume that's Texas. And here's what that looks like. It's kind of a blurry picture, I'm sorry. So yeah, these women in the red handmaids outfits, large group of them at the protest. We the people were not meant to kneel. That's what it says on their banner. It was quite striking. I saw some video clips of it earlier in the day before I took this picture. And I was like, that's a way to get your message out. It's very striking to the eye. It makes you stop and look. That's the point. Well done. Just like the woman on the fucking street over here. Like I told you, in the bodysuit, Guy Fawkes mask, colorful hair, sign way up over her head. Striking. Makes people stop and look. That's the fucking point. Israel is asking America for help in striking Iran. Israeli defense officials have noted they cannot destroy Iran's nuclear facilities without U.S. intervention. Well, when I read this, I thought to myself, oh, this is just easing us, getting us ready for the idea of Americans being involved in this war with Iran. Well, guess what? Americans, Americans are already involved in this war in many ways. So let's not pretend that we aren't. And I do expect us to get involved at some point. Oh, I didn't read you the rest of the America First thing. Let me do that. When I caught Donald Trump by phone this morning, the president wanted to make one thing clear. America First means whatever he says it does. Well, considering that I'm the one that developed America First, and considering that the term wasn't used until I came along, I think I'm the one that decides that, Trump told me. For those people who say they want peace, you can't have peace if Iran has a nuclear weapon. So for all of those wonderful people who don't want to do anything about Iran having a nuclear weapon, that's not peace. Again, people, he's saying he made the term America First up, that no one's ever said it or used it before. It was the Klan used to use it. So it was a thing before. Or was it Make America Great Again? I can't remember. The Klan used one of those phrases. But the phrases come from somewhere, another era, where they were used to, communicate the same idea. Oh, we liked it when it was more white around here. That's what they're saying. Stuff like that. So no, Donnie didn't invent the phrase. It's been around in other racist movements in America in the past. Donnie uses it in kind of a different way, though. And the people were not saying MAGA. They didn't have the MAGA thing. That's a new incarnation of Make America Great Again. A phrase I believe, again, that was used by the Klan on certain occasions. There's pictures of it. So he thinks he made it up. He's going to trademark. Can I trademark? You're fired. Can I do that? Judge, let me get some lawyers on that. Anyone says you're fired anywhere in the community, if a boss fires someone, he says you're fired, you got to pay me. So I'm going to trademark America First. I made that up. No one ever used it. Well, here's a picture of the Klan using it. I don't care. They stole it from me. This is San Francisco, I believe. And the entire street, just as far as the eye can see, is just full of people. Oh, this is what Leon said after the murders took place of the state representatives in Minnesota. The far left is murderously violent. Murderously, he uses. And again, remember who Leon is. He's the Nazi salute guy. You know, the Nazis, they believe in eugenics, survival of the fittest, uh, anti-woman, anti-any ethnicity but white, pure Aryan race, subjugating their neighbors, invading people, blitzkrieg, steal their resources. Does it sound familiar? They want Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Gaza, etc. What's that all about? Oh, stealing their resources. In Gaza, they want to build a resort specifically. So here's a person. Leon's not stupid. Leon is smart enough to know what he's doing here. He's trying to invert reality and make this shooter a lefty, commie, etc. No, he wasn't a lefty commie. I'm sorry. He was the ultimate type of MAGA guy. Again, I saw him doing sermons, all kinds of stuff. He was fucking serious about it. Obviously, he went to shoot only Democrats. So that kind of blows the whole Leon theory out of the water. But Leon doesn't care about that. He knows to the rubes and to him and to certain men and women in government and to others, this is just a game. Always point the finger at the other side. It's just a game. It doesn't matter. No, it's people's life and death here. And this movement that Leon's helped embolden and that Donnie's been all about gets people fucking killed. Gets riots going at the Capitol. Gets Ashley Babbitt killed. Got a guy on a roof killed too. And a guy in an audience at a rally. Now it got these people killed. And you have Leon again, Laura Loomer and others, and they know exactly what they're doing. Oh, we'll just invert reality and say he was a lefty. Who cares? You know who cares? The man cares, son. He hates inversion of reality. Here's a woman at one of the protests. I thought this was striking. And she has a little poem written on her card there. Here's a poem about Nome. She shot her dog. She's a cunt. I like that better than Shakespeare. That's some creative wordplay there. I love it. It makes sense. It's concise. It gets to the point. Good choice of words. I love the work. Take another look at this person. I can't wait to see the next poem they write. They need to write an anthology and shit. This is fucking horrifying. This right here. The U.S. Army has sworn in senior tech executives from Palantir, Meta, and OpenAI as lieutenant colonels in a new reserve unit, where they will serve as advisors to steer the implementation of AI in military strategy. Palantir, Meta, OpenAI. OpenAI, I believe, is Altman's company. Palantir is Thiel's company. Meta, you know, that Zuckerberg company. These people are now given the high rank of lieutenant colonel in the military. That should fucking scare you. They've already infiltrated Doge and Leon, and those tech people have infiltrated every computer system and bureaucracy. They have all your info. They have everything. And they've shared it with the Russians. Now they're getting lieutenant colonel positions in the fucking military. Don't even try and say that this isn't fucking nefarious. And it's not like some pseudo takeover of our fucking military. Don't even try and say it. And here's another reason for those people to be there. They're going to use that AI to subjugate you. They're going to use that to police everyone. Unbelievable. Again, as if it wasn't big enough fucking nightmare. These people have every bit of info about us and have shared it with people and agencies like Palantir. And Palantir's being put in charge of basically, keeping a file on all of us. 1984 type shit. Now we've got them infiltrating the fucking military at the high rank of lieutenant colonel. That is fucking horrifying. Horrifying. It's over, son. They got into everything. There's nothing left. They got it all. They everywhere now. They omnipresent. Just because Leon ain't around as much, you're not seeing him as much. It's still over. All these other people are still there. The idea is still going forward. Leon's just being punished for a little bit. He'll be back. Don't worry. God forbid Donnie or Leon go anywhere. You know what I mean? It might just make the world a better place if they went off into the sunset. But that's not going to fucking happen, unfortunately. I wish it could. But, in this world, if there's a choice, usually, or if there are two paths, and you ask the world, you say, world, which path are we going to take here? Because you ultimately decide. The world ultimately decides. The shitty, horrible one that brings misery and bullshit into millions of people's lives, or the good one that makes everyone's life better? Well, 9 times out of 10, the shitty, horrible thing's going to happen. That's when you look at history, let's be honest. So that's what I expect at every turn. Plus, I've read a story, again, that was written over 1,000 years ago. And as you progress through the story, there's really no good parts. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then it ends. And allegedly, a whole bunch of good stuff happens after that. That don't give you much to go on, does it? Fuel, I mean. It makes it rather mundane, tedious, frustrating, deadly, depressing, sad, all that fun stuff. But it is what it is. Not my story. Someone much greater than I wrote it, made it all happen. So I guess I got to run with it, right? What choice do I have? I'm not God. I'm just a little speck in his whole thing. That's all I am. But I'm your guide, so I'm here telling you, yeah, the story is just pretty much bad thing after bad thing. I don't understand why the infinite compounding of misery needs to happen, but, whatever. I didn't write it, I'm not God, so I don't get to make that choice. I just hope the duration of the misery is as short as possible. But again, these things tend to linger on. Hitler was around, 33 to 45? That's a long time, man. to have the devil in charge. How did I get back here? What happened? Let me get back to my place here. Oh, the horrors of the tech people getting lieutenant colonel in the military. I forgot about that. That's where I was. Here's someone holding a sign that says, which crimes get you deported and which get you elected? Rubes, that's questions for you. There's a person holding it. Do you realize, people that aren't in the cult, we have one party and one segment of United States society that looks at criminals, knows they're criminals, watch them try and overthrow the government, watch them store 3,000 classified documents in the shitter, and they said, I like it. That's scary. And again, you have a whole half of the basic, half of politics are those people. As far as the population, I'm hoping it's 35% at most. I'm hoping. It could be more, it could be less. Hitler, again, it was a minority movement. He wasn't loved by everyone. And Donnie's sure as fucking hated. We kind of witnessed that this weekend, didn't we? Yeah, we did. That's the real root of the problem, people. You've had a person here and there say that, and that needs to be stressed. Donald Trump isn't necessarily the actual problem. It's the people down low who look at an abject criminal and they cheer when he gets away with another horrid abomination. What does that mean? That means those human beings are flawed in a major fucking way. They made this happen. Without them, none of this would be a thing. So again, it comes down to, and this was a harsh realization for me, man. And that's why I'm so freaked out by it, even to this day. It was hard for me to come to the realization that friends, neighbors, acquaintances that I respected, whatever, old ladies I knew from a poetry site, even them, some of those, went all MAGA, and I'm thinking to myself, they seem like such nice people. They see this evil right in front of their face, and they like it, and they put their name on it over and over again. So that was a harsh realization for me to come to realize how many people, some I knew well, were just like Donnie. And were willing to put their name on evil and the inversion of reality at every turn just because it had an R next to it, or they didn't have any real morals or whatever. That's pretty horrifying, to come to the realization that a percentage, and a lot of people you know personally, are not good people. Deep down. And they're willing to put their name on the devil. Just because it's, partially because it's all put through this lens of it's just politics. It's just this one little niche thing here, and I go vote and it's done with. And I go back to my life. Some of you go back to a life again with a crew of Latin illegals to work on your farm or business or whatever. Yet when you were in the booth, you voted to have them deported. That makes no sense. That's what I mean. You also voted, you knew the ties with Russia were strong and there the whole time. You voted to give your country to Russia twice now. Maybe 3 times. Just Biden won last time. So again, which crimes get you deported? Which ones get you elected? Because we got a convicted felon as president, and you knew that before you voted on him. Before you voted for him, excuse me. Very tired, I apologize. This was Boise, Idaho, and, you know, I was kind of surprised to see this. This is an amazing picture. I mean, just an enormous crowd in Idaho. And I know it's not rural Idaho, but still, it's fucking Idaho, man. And this many people came out to tell Donnie Shitbags to fuck off. Oh my God, you must be hated, son. That's a lot of fucking people. Holy shit. Not in New York. Not in Denver or wherever the fuck. Idaho, son. That's a hated man right there. Ooh. Perfect candidate to be who I think he is. The U.S.-Iran nuclear talks in Oman scheduled for Sunday by Steve Witkoff have been canceled. Okay, so there's no talks coming soon. I'm seeing conflicting reports on that. 1 minute it sounds like the Iranians want to try and make a deal, but the problem is most of their leadership has been killed or fled. So who's going to make the fucking deal? Oh, the army the parade, it was about a half hour before the parade, and some pictures started popping up of the fairgrounds and stuff, and it looked kind of fucking empty. Now, there's people, you know, in the depth of the picture. You're looking at the back of the field looking forward, but still there's just... I was like, oh shit, this is going to be ugly, man. And here's another picture of kind of some people sitting along a wall. And just, you know, not that many people. We'll get back to that, don't worry. The State Department has issued a security alert urging American citizens to depart Iran immediately. That was yesterday, I believe. Yes, June 14. So when I read this, I thought it reminded me of the, you know, get out of Iraq order. And then the next day, Bibi started bombing in Iran. Now they're telling get out of Iran. So that means there's going to be more bombing. That's what this tells me. Iran will not engage in any future negotiations with the Trump administration on a nuclear deal, its foreign minister has said. Well, I imagine all the leadership has fled anyway, so. Here's a dog, and someone put a sign on the dog, or maybe the dog made it himself. I could shit a better president. I bet this dog could. Because a pile of shit, let's say a pile of dog shit, was in the Oval Office in the chair instead of Donnie Shitbags. At least no damage would be done. So if you really weigh the two, the pile of shit, dog shit, and Donnie Shitbags, if you weigh them against each other, which one would do less damage? Well, the pile of shit. So I vote for the pile of shit, man. Dog shit, that is. Oh, this is another shot of Donnie's parade. So Trump's Look at Me parade flopped. Another epic waste of our taxpayer dollars. Look at these bleachers, son. Oh no. Oh no. Where's all the patriots? Yeah, that bleacher is much more than half empty. It's almost completely empty. We'll get back to it. Don't worry. Okay, this is Donnie after Rubio denied having anything to do with the attack on Iran, and there were things circulating that the United States was helping defend Israel, and the United States was doing different things. So Donnie wanted to come out and make sure everyone knew that we have nothing to do with attacking Iran because I won a Nobel Peace Prize. You ready? The U.S. had nothing to do with the attack on Iran tonight. If we are attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the U.S. armed forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. However, we can easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel. That's right after he threatens the living shit out of them. and this bloody end this bloody conflict. Donnie the peacemaker. God, he's putting on such an act to get that peace prize, isn't he? When we're literally helping Israel defend the missile barrage, the United States. We've got ships doing certain things. Believe me, we're involved, okay? So don't let Donnie fool you. And I expect that we go all in at some point, really join the fight. I expect that to happen. I mean, he is the fucking Antichrist, for fuck's sake. And this is kind of the status as of last I checked. It probably is worse by this point. A total of 13 Israelis were killed and 341 wounded after Iran launched a missile barrage on Haifa and Tel Aviv on Saturday, marking the second day of hostilities. In comparison, at least 78 Iranians have been killed since Israel initiated the war early Friday. I don't know what to believe coming out of Iran. There's hardly any footage. There's hardly anything coming out of Iran that I'm finding. So I have a feeling they lost more than 78 people. I have a feeling they don't want us to see the devastation. Now, when I look at pictures of Israel, there's some pretty bad missile strikes that took place. I've seen the strikes on video, and then I've seen the aftermath. Entire buildings split in half, little miniature neighborhoods just devastated, ruined. Every car on the street, everything. It looks like a fucking war zone. This has happened in 4 or 5 locations in Israel. They've taken a straight up missile strike. So I can't imagine what they're doing in Iran. They have to be mighty pissed about that stuff, right? And Israel has the superior weapons. And they have the United States backing them. So I really wonder what the pictures look like from inside of Iran. If I'm seeing this kind of damage in Israel, which is fucking serious. Again, since Bibi made this decision, 13 Israelis dead last time I checked. There's probably more now. That's 13 people gone because Bibi made this decision. Just in his country, not counting the dead in the other country. 341 people wounded because Bibi Netanyahu wanted to start a war. Not just Bibi, Donnie wants the war too. Donnie and Bibi have plans for Gaza and that whole area. They got plans for the whole world. So 78 Iranians dead, 13 Israelis dead, many, many wounded. And again, I don't know how much I trust the info coming out of Iran. I have a feeling they're hiding a lot of things. Okay, Donnie wrote this thesis length thing on Iran and Israel. I'll read some of it. Iran and Israel should make a deal and will make a deal, just like I got India and Pakistan to make in that case, by using trade with the U.S. to bring reason, cohesion, and sanity into the talks with two excellent leaders. All right, I'm going to stop there. India and Pakistan both said that the United States had nothing to do with their ceasefire. Both countries literally said this. Because Donnie tried to take credit back then, too. Because he really wants that Nobel, man. So bad, you don't even know. He covets that thing. That's why this act right here. That's why him trying to take credit for India and Pakistan cooling it down. Then he goes on to, in his first term, Serbia and Kosovo were going at it hot and heavy. as they have for many decades. Isn't that like kind of a sexual phrase, hot and heavy? Donnie's all fucked up. Or the AI that wrote this is all fucked up. Whatever. As they have for many decades, and this long-time conflict was ready to break out into war. So he's taking credit for a Serbia-Kosovo peace thing. I doubt he had anything to fucking do with that either. Because Donnie isn't a peacemaker. He's the Antichrist. So I want to stress this part about India and Pakistan. Both countries said, yeah, you had nothing to do with it. They made sure to tell the world that. Because they know Donnie's going to take credit for everything. And he tried to. Unbelievable. And then he goes back to his first term talking about Serbia and fucking Kosovo. God, he wants a Nobel so bad. Trump says it's possible U.S. gets involved in Israel-Iran conflict. This was June 15th, 11:15 a.m. Trump said Sunday that the U.S. is not involved in Israel's military strikes, but it's possible we could get involved. That's a quote. In an interview with ABC News' Rachel Scott, Trump said he's open to Russian President Vladimir Putin serving as a mediator in the conflict. Vlad, the guy who's butchering Ukrainians by the minute, he's going to mediate the conflict. Vlad does have a lot of sway over Iran. But, you know, let's be honest, Iran's just going to lose unless they shoot a nuclear weapon off. Which they probably have, but who wants to be responsible for that shit? Because that fallout going to come back at you. Let me light this cigarette and then I'll read some Rand Paul to you real quick. This is Rand again saying this on the 15th. I've never liked the idea of the parade. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and the only parades I can remember are Soviet parades for the most part, or North Korean parades. The parades I remember from our history were different. We never glorified weapons so much. Then there's the cost. Rand hit him again. Did the White House picnic already take place, or is Rand uninvited again? Asked by ABC whether he plans to call Governor Walz following the shooting of Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota, Trump responded, you ready for the abomination? You ready for the Antichrist? Well, it's a terrible thing. I think he's a terrible governor. I think he's a grossly incompetent person. But I may call him. I may call other people too. It kind of reminds you when they asked him about Biden and his cancer. Well, don't feel sorry for him. Don't feel too sorry for him. Biden's a bad guy. He's a terrible guy. Again, he just can't be human for fucking 1 second. Again, this is about people that died. Not about Donnie. Not about Governor Walz. It's about people that were executed because of MAGA. And that makes Donnie mad. And it's a shame he can't simply do the presidential thing, make the phone call, say, I'm very sorry to hear about your representatives that were murdered. You know, we're going to, anything you need, we can help, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just more exposure of the movement. More exposure of the evil inside you, who have your name on this, and the ones that have already gone out and done things, and the evil inside Donnie. It's further verification of it. It's further exposure of it. And of course, Donnie has to turn it into, you know, all Democrats are evil, Tim Walz is terrible, only Republican governors are good. That's if they listen to me. Disgusting, abominable, an abomination, blasphemy. How did it go? He will blaspheme The dead, those in heaven, and the tabernacle of God, God's dwelling place. Could that qualify? Possibly. Here we go with the Nobel Peace Prize again. Trump stopped an Israeli plan to assassinate Iran's supreme leader Khomeini, according to U.S. officials. Now, do you think Donnie really gives a fuck about Khomeini? Absolutely fucking not. Donnie wants a Nobel. Donnie wants this headline out there. I stopped him from assassinating the leader. Again, the only reason that headline is being shared and that idea is being circulated is because he wants a Nobel Peace Prize. He wanted that headline in front of you. Vance Bolter, the Minnesota gunman who shot 2 state lawmakers while impersonating a police officer, was seen wearing a latex mask on security footage. Yes, this is a full head mask, as if you were doing a Hollywood scene or something. It's a literal face. All that's missing is the eyes. Fucking psycho. What is this, fucking Michael Myers? What the fuck is this? A complete mask. Literally looks like a human face. Ears, everything. Wow. And, you know, he's a Christian, I'm sure. Again, it's shit like him. It's people like him that walk around telling everybody that's willing to listen that they're a Christian. Then they, you know, gun down 2 Democratic lawmakers because they're in another cult called MAGA as well, where violence is acceptable when it's used against your political opponents. That's the reason so many people hear the word church, Christian, blah, 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 and they recoil. And they would never think of it or dream of it, joining it. Part of the reason is because of this, what's his name? Mr. Bolter. With the fake fucking mask, like, you know, it's the movie Drive or something. At least, you know, Ryan Gosling was, you know, the hero in the story doing the mask thing. You know, that this guy's just a fucking traitor to his nation. He's in a fucking cult. And he's willing to murder people because they have a different political or worldview than he does. You know, they're not Nazis. Because that's the movement you people are part of. Whether you think that's true or agree with my classification or not, you're in a Nazi movement. You are the Nazis. If you have your name on this. Again, whether you like it or not. And it don't matter what color you are. None of that. Again, you didn't see Biden putting machine guns on the streets, son. You didn't see Biden opening death camps either. Using your money to do it. And again, this is one of the results of MAGA. And this you know, chipping away over these past 10 years of, yeah, it's acceptable to put machine gun troops on the street against their own citizens. It's acceptable to murder your political rivals. This is Russia now. Right? That's what you voted for. And you loved it. Now we got, you know, again, lawmakers being gunned down. And their spouses. At their homes. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good world or a good path we're headed down with this whole Nazi Reich stuff. This whole MAGA stuff. I don't know. This is San Diego. Gavin Newsom put out a little video. This is San Diego. You can't even see a piece of earth, basically. There's so many people. And it compared, his video compared, all the different protest footage to Donnie's parade. With like 4 people in the fucking bleachers as the tank goes by. This piece of footage was hilarious. Because what you see in this piece of footage, again, is like a 70-year-old fucking tank. The bleachers are fucking empty. There's like 4 people. And you hear the tank creaking down the road. It's like, it's making all these squeaks and squeals and dead silence. You don't hear nothing else. Maybe a voice on a PA, because as these things were going by, it would say, sponsored by Palantir, sponsored by this, sponsored by the UFC. I don't believe any of those people paid a dime. I believe you paid for it, the taxpayer. I don't care if they were yelling out sponsors' company names on a loudspeaker. That don't mean jack shit to me. I want to see checks, son. And I ain't buying it. I think the taxpayer paid for all this. And again, this piece of footage where the 70-year-old tank's going down the street going, and that's all you can hear. You don't hear no crowd. You don't hear no... It's dead silent. And it just summed up the whole parade. It was lackluster. It was poorly planned. It was poorly executed. It was poorly attended. It was a fucking joke. Donnie looked like he fell asleep. Rubio was yawning. Hegseth was like sneaking hits of gin out of his fucking flask. It was fucking pathetic, and nobody showed up in comparison to what they expected. And the protests, my God, they were overflowing. It was ridiculous. And, I've read many different comments about this parade, and some people in the military said the military wasn't even trying. They weren't marching in unison. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't want to be there. And it may have even been a type of protest by them. I don't know if that's the truth. I looked at several pieces of footage, and I noticed the same thing, even though I'm not in the military. I noticed the men weren't marching in unison. They were kind of half-assing it. And I'm like, that don't look right. This is supposed to be the greatest military on earth. They can't even march in unison. I've also seen comments like, you don't do any marching once you get out of basic training, or once you move on to what you're going to do, you're not marching in formation and doing that kind of stuff anymore. And again, I've never been in the military, so I don't know, but that does make sense. The marching was to train you, to get you prepared for the fucking position and military etiquette and all that, of course. But after a certain point, you're not doing that anymore, I assume, right? So I saw a lot of military people said those military guys were not even trying. A lot of them also said, I noticed this as well, the weapons were kind of lackluster, old stuff. Where's the real impressive, like, new stuff, cool planes? It just was kind of like, it was horrible. Fucking horrible. And nobody showed the fuck up. Poor Antichrist. Here's a meme somebody made, and Hegseth really makes it. Hegseth with the bottle of booze. I just fucking love it. Donnie in a diaper saluting with a birthday hat. Hegseth smiling next to him with the fucking... That's the meme right there. The Hegseth smile with the fucking big ass bottle of hard liquor. And something else happened with Donnie. I guess after he gave his speech or something, he just stood there saluting, and a military man had to come up behind him and was, it's time to go, Mr. President. What are you doing? We are so fucking doomed, son. Epstein's calendar contained multiple meetings with Peter Thiel. So Mr. Thiel's ties to Epstein go a little further than we thought. It wasn't just a one-time investment. They knew each other. They had meetings. A review of Epstein's personal calendar by the Wall Street Journal found that the disgraced financier had arranged meetings with the tech billionaire, among others. Oh, this is from 2023. I didn't know this. So you got another person at the top of this fucking Reich thing, who owns a company that got a lot of welfare from you, by the way, just recently. Not to mention the welfare you've given him in the past. Who's building, basically a data set on you so they can use it to subjugate you. And you got to pay for it. Are you proud of yourself? They gave Mr. Thiel a contract recently. That was your money. Leon got contracts. That was your money. What did you get so far? Not a fucking thing. You got theater, as everybody grifted and put their hand out and took your money. So you get to pay for the downfall of your nation. You get to literally finance it. Through Thiel, through all the welfare you give Thiel, Leon, all the grifts Donnie's pulling. His golf outings every weekend, you pay for those. You get to pay to fix up that airplane, that bribe plane, $400 million plane. And you get to finance all this. The guy who hung out with Epstein and took 40 million of his money to invest. I hope the next reporter that approaches Mr. Thiel asks him about his new Epstein ties, on top of just the simple investment. IRGC intelligence chief General Mohammad Kazemi was killed today in Israeli airstrikes on Tehran. His deputy General Hassan Mohakek and senior officer General Massan Bagheri were also confirmed dead. That's on top of the other military leaders they killed the other day. So it appears that Iran, a lot of their leadership has already been taken out. And Israel ain't fucking around. They ain't trying to kill a bunch of peasants. They going right for the top. Right for the head of the snake. And they're succeeding. So I have a feeling the damage inside Iran and the loss of actual leadership, infinitely worse than what's happening in Israel. Israel hasn't lost any of their leadership. Iran's losing leadership daily. Top level people. Kind of hard to prosecute a war like that when all the peasants underneath are, we've got no leader. We've got no plan. So Iran's taking some serious fucking damage that they're not telling us about. Some random person posted this. I'm confused. Kilmore Abrego Garcia has been arrested and charged with a crime of providing transportation for undocumented migrants from Texas to northeastern states. This is exactly what Texas Governor Greg Abbott did on numerous occasions. So why wasn't Abbott arrested? Again, I talked about this before, back when it was going on, and since. I said DeSantis and Abbott have literally become coyotes, and your tax money, Texas and Florida, was used to finance a human trafficking operation for illegals to ship them further in the country. You paid for that, son. As you shouted out off the rooftops, shouted from the rooftop, I hate illegal, I hate migrants, immigrants. I want them all gone. You literally financed several groups of migrants to go further into the nation and really get a secure foothold in this country. That's how turned around you are, son. That's what I've been trying to say for 10 fucking years. You don't even realize how turned around you are. You complain every day about migrants and illegals coming in. You want to keep them out of the country. Then when they do come in, your governor says, hey, let's start a coyote operation on your money because I ain't fucking paying for it. I'm not an idiot. You're going to pay for my political theater, motherfucker. That sound good? Yeah? It must have, because I saw a lot of comments online how everyone loved it. Do you realize you were supporting a human trafficking operation of illegal immigrants? Greg Abbott and DeSantis were head coyotes. You know, the Mexican guy who leads the other Mexicans over the border, for a fee, of course, because he knows where the tunnel is, he knows where the breach in the fence is, he knows how to get them across. That's a coyote. Greg Abbott, Ron DeSantis, and the Rubes, that's you, financed and became a literal coyote operation, human trafficking operation. You amaze me, son. You amaze me. So you became the very, I don't know what to call it, vessel for the thing that you claim to hate so much. You helped make it happen. And you cheered it on. You became, in essence, the coyote. And I don't get this logic of kick your own self in the ass that MAGA loves so much. And, you know, in reality, if you weren't in a cult, you would say, well, I don't want to bust them further in and I don't want to pay for it. That's what I've been complaining about my whole life, is them coming in. But since a guy with an R on his shoulder is doing it, I'm going to, like, that's how turned around you are, son. That's how lost you are, son. So again, when are Abbott and DeSantis getting arrested? Because that's what they're charging Abrego with. Oh, this is the traffic on one of Iran's main highways from their capital. People just leaving in mass. So it must be pretty bad at the capital. There is no street there. It's all cars. Going one way, of course. The other way is nice and empty. And here's kind of the other direction. You saw kind of the back of the jam. Here's kind of the front of the jam going forward. Fleeing the capital of their country. I saw that jam. I was like, oh my God, you got war behind you. You're in a traffic jam on the highway. Everybody and their grandmas trying to get out. Not a good situation. You better have filled up your gas tank, son. It's Iran. They got a lot of gas, right? Here's a person. I don't know who they are. Let's just call him Philip. They look like a right-wing hack of some sort. I've seen many. Donald, this is back in October 8th of 24. Donald Trump is literally right about everything. Okay. This is June 15, 2025. Donald Trump has completely failed us. I wonder what changed his mind. And here are the two posts that the man made. We tried to warn you. We tried to warn you. You knew better, though. Here's a woman holding up a sign that Trump is the new Hitler. And I didn't make this one. This is a real one. Yeah, he is. You saw the Nazi salute, right? Inauguration Day. You saw that? You saw the death camp down in El Salvador that no one's allowed to call anybody, just talk to the outside world, nothing. They never leave. They're there for the rest of their life. You saw that, right? You see the troops, you see the guys with machine guns on California streets, right? Yet there's no riots. Hmm. You hear the annex talk, right? Every other day. Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Suez, Panama, Gaza. I don't know. Kind of sounds like Hitler-y type talk. Wouldn't you say? Iran, this ain't good, son. Iran has officially suspended cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, cutting off access to surveillance data, site inspections, and advanced notifications related to its nuclear sites. Oh, no, no. Not good. We want the Atomic Energy Agency monitoring these levels. After the first bombing runs by Israel, we got a reading from the Atomic Energy Agency, one of the uranium enrichment sites that was bombed. The radiation level was going up inside the facility, inside the rubble. Again, this is what I was worried about when I started hearing, oh, we're going to bomb uranium enrichment plants. Is that a good idea? Because, fallout, son, it kind of goes wherever the wind blows. You know that, right? So we don't want nuclear exchanges or the bombing of nuclear facilities necessarily anywhere in the world, because of fucking fallout. The most deadly shit mankind has ever gotten involved in. So now I guess we're not going to get any more readings about any of Iran's nuclear facilities and what's going on inside or outside, because Iran doesn't want to share the destruction of their country. They want to try and hide it. They want to try and be like Iraq, even worse than Iraq. They're just not saying nothing. And they're just going to stop providing data and access. That's not good for us. That's not good for anybody. I want that agency monitoring the levels like they were before when we got that first reading. Horrifying. But, if the power grid were to ever go down for a month or whatever, you'd have all kind of nuclear meltdowns all across the nation. It'd be over. There'd be no way to cool the reactors. And I believe most nuke plants have a few weeks of generators, stuff like that, to keep at the very least, the reactor cooling going. After that, it's meltdown after meltdown, end of civilization. That's how easily it could happen. That's how dangerous this fucking shit is. They all knew this the whole time. That, yeah, if the grid goes down for a month or something, we'll just all die. And I mean everybody. Because just add up how many nuke plants we have just in this country and then picture them all around the world melting down if there was some large-scale power outage for a long period of time. Showering and all that stuff, that wouldn't be so important anymore. Because, again, after 2 weeks or after a month, you'd have meltdown after meltdown, and it's irreversible, and there ain't jack shit anyone could do about it. But they knew this when they built the first nuke plant. They knew this, so whatever. America is in this war. U.S. forces reportedly down suicide drone over Iraq. NATO AWACS in the air providing support to this mission. Yeah. Yeah, we're all over this. Don't worry. So don't believe Donnie when he says, oh, we have nothing to do with it. I'm trying to get the Nobel here. Don't talk about it. This isn't the best picture, but there were several pictures of a group of 3 troops would walk by, and one of them was carrying a drone like this. They couldn't even fly the drone in the parade. Someone's just holding it. I mean, this is how ghetto this was. And again, it's kind of a blurry picture. I apologize, but you can see the drone at the top in the center of the picture. The person just holding it up as they walk by. I mean, just what kind of half-ass bullshit is this? A real parade would have had 100 drones in formation or something. You know what I mean? What the a troop is walking by holding a drone up, like look. Who the fuck planned this? Did anybody plan this? Did they just call up the military and say, we just want a parade, just do whatever you want? Because that's what it looks like. Multiple Iranian missiles hit Tel Aviv moments ago. And again, this was tonight a little bit before I came on. This is what the sky looks like. And again, some of these Iranian missiles are getting through, and they are horrifying. I'm seeing films of these, and I'm posting them and posting the links in the post section all day, every day, so you can see them. I mean, these pieces of film are like movies, like a movie about a war, or meteors falling from the heavens. I mean, these missiles go so high up into the atmosphere, and when they come down, they just come down with the force of the devil. And it's just split second, and the explosions are insane. And people are filming these from, a few hundred yards away, a few blocks away, and I couldn't imagine, son. A few blocks, I'm on my balcony window, my apartment in the high-rise building, and I'm looking out, and I see fucking ballistic missile strikes within a few blocks of me. Can you imagine seeing that? I have a feeling America is going to see it this time. For the first time. I just have that feeling. I have a feeling America is going to experience all those things we never did, including the downfall. The downfall part, I mean, that's obvious. It's already happening in so many ways. We're already, a quarter way through it at this pace. Maybe more than a quarter, maybe halfway. Just got to get them liberals out of the way. Last obstacle, just like in 33 in Germany. Same exact thing. Got to get them liberals out of. They're the only obstacle to what we want to do. Same thing today. Complete with Nazi salutes. Same exact Nazi haircuts. Where did that go? Sorry, I lost my place. I gotta find it again. This thing. Jesus Christ. Donnie wrote this. And that's a damn thesis on his money laundering thing. And basically what it says, I'll read some of it. Basically what it says is, yeah, we're going to target liberal cities for more immigration enforcement activity. In other words, what does that mean? We're going to get the machine guns on the streets in most liberal cities because we need some shit to jump off in one of those cities, so it gives the Reich an excuse to go even more full Reich. Martial law, all that shit. Obviously the intention here. And obviously the intention is I've got to get the liberals out of the way just like Adolf did. They're the only thing standing in my way. Again, the Rubes have already gone along. They'll be worthless in this fight. They'll probably end up taking the mark, almost all of them. I hope I'm wrong. But from what I see, I don't think I am. So I don't expect them to help at all. In fact, I expect them to help the Reich, which will only help them end up in the lake. So let's read some of this fucking thesis. Our nation's ICE officers have shown incredible strength, determination, and courage as they facilitate a very important mission, the largest mass deportation operation of illegal aliens in history, except for the hotel workers, the farm workers, and, in rural areas. In liberal areas, we'll just go after whoever we want to. So, there are some exceptions. And Donnie proclaimed those exceptions himself, especially the hotel workers, because Donnie owns hotels. So I guess it must be about something else. Every day, the brave men and women of ICE are subjected to violence. Not the people they kidnap. They're not subjected to violence. It's the ICE agents. Harassment, even threats from radical Democrat politicians, but nothing will stop us from executing our mission and fulfilling our mandate to the American people. ICE officers are herewith ordered by notice of this truth. He's ordering policy. He's giving commands on a social media website. Do you see how far gone your country is, son? It's never coming back either. I'm sorry. Caesar is proclaiming policy on his Truth Social. Literally. To do all in their power to achieve the very important goal of delivering the single largest mass deportation program in history. In order to achieve this, we must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as LA, Chicago, New York, where millions upon millions of illegal aliens reside. Well, what about Donnie's resorts and hotels? Can we look there? Oh, he exempted those ones. Never mind. These and other such cities are the core of the Democrat power center. He's talking about the cities now, where they use illegal aliens to expand their voter base, cheat hardworking American citizens. No, Donnie uses illegal aliens. He doesn't care how they vote. So it must be about something else. These radical left Democrats are sick of mind, hate our country, and actually want to destroy our inner cities. Yeah, that's totally what they want to do. And they are doing a good job of it. There's something wrong with them. Wrong with them, you say. That is why they believe in open borders. Donnie said he needs open borders. He said it right in the White House. He let it slip, Rubes. Transgender for everybody and men playing in women's sports. Let me say this. Men playing in women's sports, the transgender male playing in female sports. I don't think that's fair, because the transgender, the person turning from male to female, still has male muscle in their body, a lot stronger than women. So I think it's unfair to have someone who used to be a man. I don't care if they want to be transgender, whatever, that's your life. But I think it's just unfair to allow them to play in girls' sports because of the muscle advantage. And because a girl could get hurt. Honestly. It just gives them an unfair advantage. Again, I could care less if someone's a transgender, how they want to live their life. The problem I have is, again, you throw them in female sports, they hurt somebody. It's just not fair, in my opinion. And it has nothing to do, again, I have nothing against them being transgender. That's not why I'm saying this. I'm saying this because of the muscle they have in their body. And that's the only problem I have with it. Where was I? Because I wouldn't want to miss any of this. And that is why I want ICE, Border Patrol, and our great patriotic law enforcement officers to focus on our crime-ridden and deep and deadly inner cities and those places where sanctuary cities play such a big role. You don't hear about sanctuary cities in our heartland. There's the operative sentence, as well as way back up here, America's largest cities when he first mentioned it. What is he saying? I'm not going to target the red areas in the rural states, rural areas. I'm going to target the majority liberal areas only. Because we don't have this problem in rural areas. You know where all the fucking farms are? They have farms in a lot of rural areas full of Mexicans. And we all know they're illegal. I'm seeing, I don't know, I'm seeing another agenda here. I'm seeing a specific targeting of certain areas that lean a certain way politically. In other words, it's not about illegals, because now we're going to leave the heartland, which we all know what that's code for. Republican red states, rural states. And we're only going to go after the major cities. Here's the thing, Rubes, again. Those major cities, especially Cali, New York, etc., they pay your welfare for your welfare state. You need them more than you'll ever know, because your Rube state makes no money. So not only, maybe they're going to go for, cities in red states too, but they'll be going after the liberals in those cities. That'll fuck up your economy as well, because that's where the majority of the money for your state comes from. Then the rest of it comes from places like California and New York, the literal places Donnie's going to go after. You don't want to fuck up those economies, Jethro. Those economies pay your state's welfare bill. And you need that. That's called voting against your own interests. What you've done. You don't hear about sanctuary cities in our heartland. Oh, you mean where all the farms are, which has a whole crew of illegal workers to pick the crops? No, they're not sanctuary areas. They sure sound like it to me. It is obvious from this thesis, he's doing exactly what I've been saying he's going to do and is doing currently. Targeting liberals because they're the last obstacle in the way of the Reich. Once Hitler arrested all the liberals, had them subjugated out of the way, well, then he went full Reich. So where do you think Donnie's going once he subjugates the liberal areas with machine guns? Well, he's going full Reich. Of course. That's the point of this exercise. That's the reason this fucking 8,000 word thesis had to be AI generated. That said, yeah, we're only going to go after left-leaning areas. We really want to torture those people. And the Rubes are, yeah, yay! Oh, well, all the welfare for Georgia just got cut off because California's economy crashed. Oh, shit. My welfare money's not coming? What am I going to do? I don't know, you could have not voted for and cheered on California's downfall at the hand of Donnie Shitbags and you. That's what you could have done. So Donnie's saying the quiet part out loud. Yeah, we're just going to go after the liberal areas, the major cities. The heartland doesn't have this problem. Neither do the hotels, the restaurants, and all the exempted businesses. Like Donnie's businesses. And we come to the end. The famous Star Wars clip, and that's the second set of 3 Star Wars movies that came out before Disney took over. And they were pretty good. I liked them. The acting was a little bad. Hayden Christensen, not the best actor. He kind of ruined the films a little bit for me, but whatever. He did the best he could. So there was a scene where Queen Amidala, or Senator Amidala, whatever she was, when the Chancellor was given emergency powers to do whatever he wanted. She said, so this is how democracy dies, to thunderous applause. But someone made a meme out of that. And it reminds me of the way I kind of present things. So this is how democracy dies, with a fat man shitting himself as a squeaky tank rolls by. Yeah. That squeaky tank rolling by those empty bleachers. What a perfect metaphor for what's going on. The weakness that's going on right now. Our country's weak. Because we have weak leadership who's always on the grift and trying to turn this into a Russian-style dictatorship with a half pound of Nazi ideology thrown in. And a fat guy shitting himself in orange face as a squeaky tank rolls by because he wanted a military birthday parade. That was the priority of your president. Not anything for you. Our birthday parade, that was, priority number one. To the point he wanted the military pre-staged on the streets just to punish protesters. I don't know. Again, you heard him when they asked him about Tim Waltz. Are you going to give him a call and say, that's terrible that the 2 lawmakers died in your state like a normal human being would? And I don't know. I might call him. He's a terrible governor. Yeah, Democrat. Abomination, blasphemy, Satan. Yeah, he's the Antichrist again. And he's showing me more and more that they're taking very seriously this agenda and they're getting their patience is wearing thin. We need to subjugate the liberals in this country, in government and in the citizenry. Until we do that, we don't have a real right going. And that's what we're looking for. And I'm speaking for the Reich right now. And it's ironic, the same obstacle that was in the way in 33, the trade unionists, the liberals, the communists, the socialists, are the same obstacles in the way now. Liberals, socialists, unions, union leaders, Democratic judges, liberal citizens, liberal governors. Same thing. One of the premises of deporting illegals is that the Democrats want to bring illegals that will vote for them. Well, I don't know. I saw a whole movement, Latinos for Trump and all this bullshit. People married to illegal Mexican immigrants or illegal immigrants who literally voted Donnie. So, just because a person is of Latin descent, Mexican descent, that does not mean they vote in Democrats, son, by any fucking means. There are a lot of Latinos that woke up and realized, oh shit, I voted for my demise, or my husband's demise, or my daughter's, or my grandmother's, or whatever, our whole family. They're waking up to that realization, and it's too late to go back. Way too late. And they deporting anybody that ain't nailed down, son. Have you noticed? They harassing anyone who looks Latin. It's way out of control. Machine guns on the street again in California. That should horrify even the staunchest group. So again, they need to get the liberals out of the way. That's the plan here. You just heard it from Donnie's mouth. Only the major cities, not the heartland. They're my people. They vote for me. You heard him. Verify the plan for you, because Donnie's not a good liar and he doesn't hide his intentions well at all. So I'm seeing the same thing play out that I saw in the history books regarding 1933 Germany. I'm seeing, the same strategy where I just have to get rid of that opposing political ideology. Not Nazism, not wanting to kill people in mass, etc. And then I'm good. Then I can move forward. And just whatever I proclaim is now law. What Donnie's doing right now, and we're all letting him get away with it. Just make proclamations. He don't even have to do it at the White House anymore. He does it on True Social. And now we've gotten Palantir, Meta, and OpenAI. Gentlemen with colonel positions in the military. They got it all, man. It's too late. And the country's never going to be the same. And, the rubes might be smiling now, but they don't know what a dictatorship is. They think they're in the club. They think they're on the team. They're going to have to find out the hard way they're not. And again, Donnie's going to try and present you a gift at some point. Donnie's going to try and change our currency at some point to digital. To Donnie coin. He's going to want you to take a mark. You're probably going to have to pledge some type of oath. And you're going to have to use his digital currency. When that time comes, you must say no. If you don't say no, it's the end of you forever. So when that time comes and Donnie and Leon and they all try and give you this gift, you have to kindly decline. Because if you do not, you are irredeemable. There's no chance for you. There's no takebacks, no trade backs. No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Once the choice is made, it's over. That's why I'm harping on it. Because it's one guaranteed way to go to that bad place. And believe me, son, you don't want to go to that bad place. However that manifests. Lake of fire, hell, however you want to look at it. You do not want to go to that bad place. Whatever suffering you'll go through by saying no, it will be infinitely worse if you say yes. So for your own good, because I don't get jack shit out of it, you best say no. And don't worry, everyone will know what they're doing. No one will be tricked. And no one will be able to say, I didn't know. That's the point where no one, that lie is no longer acceptable. I didn't know. Nope, after that point, that lie will no longer be useful to you. So just say no to the mark. Until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.